Hello, today is the last lecture that I have planned, and this is called Revealing One Destination. Revealing one destination, one possible future that we can live in on our Earth, and that is functioning according to the principle of natural economy. Basically, this is a story. There is a lot to it. I will explain some things, and this took place, so to speak, in the second half of this century. So let's go. Basically, this is um, a revelation of one person that is going through one routine day, and basically one person talks how is this day how this day look like. Well, good morning. I woke up in a beautiful morning and it is pleasantly warm. The summer is indeed approaching. Usually I wake up earlier, but this time it suited me a longer sleep. Well, never mind, my work will just wait. But how effortless it is today when you don't have to get up always at the same time, as we did in your timeline when I was still very young. I almost forgot how we were living then. It's good to occasionally remind us and thank for this day. With regards to this employment, it is hard to say who is employed and who is not. In fact, it's hard to define the employment as only a small minority of us have your conventional 8-hour workday. And even that is flexible. Most people are working when it is necessary, and when it isn't, they are mostly enjoying with their families. Many people are also working at home. Those who are still working in the manner similar like yours, so according to your 8-hour workday, they are found mainly in hospitals and as rescue workers in standby mode. Generally, the list has changed in the research and development with the exception of our advanced technology. As far as other fields, most people are working in food production, in the maintenance of infrastructure, and in the field of advanced building. So it's difficult to assess how many people are working exactly now. Today we also no longer distinguish between personal matters and primary activities since everything is intertwined. The primary activities are a part of our personal matters and vice versa, like I said in the previous lecture. Further, the troubles of your 8-hour workday arose many years ago when we had a large surplus of labor. In fact, due to the collapse of the monetary economy and with the expansion of cybernetics, the unemployment rate started growing. And if the collapse of the monetary system caused a particular surplus of female workforce, then the cybernetics caused a particular surplus of male workforce. But once the natural economy stabilized, then everyone became provided, even though many haven't worked for many years. Yes, there is still a number of those who are still searching and reflecting on what to do in their life or who they are. In any case, the majority of people have found an exciting primary activity so that older generations have already carried out many primary activities around the world. They settled there where their excitement dictated. So traveling and relocation are in the natural economy quite common since everything is free of charge. This means that wherever someone desires to settle down, he gets all the basic human needs, so the dwelling, food, clothing, etc., as well as other life benefits for free. Thus, being a citizen of a country has today lost almost all significance. The unemployment in the natural economy also means the employment in the natural economy also means that there is no need for the working life because there is no money in circulation. So today, people are working and living until they are able to perform an exciting primary activity. Friends, now let's go on a short breakfast in the nearby restaurant. Oh, that I don't forget to take a bottle and a chest with a lid with me. Why? You see later. You see later why for. So if there is no money, you do what you like to do. Uh, every one of us has a certain mission, a certain primary activity, and because this is a physical life, all of us has something to offer, and so this flow of free flow of products and services is circulating. And there is much of this advanced technology all around the world, like cybernetics, that is carried out specifically those heavy works. So further, a short walk, and here we are. From the outside, it looks like a good old restaurant, but from the inside is a little bit different. I'll just sit outside in the open air, as it is pleasantly warm. What can I say? I love this restaurant, mainly because of the beautiful view over the market and on the nearby park. Here I'm meeting my many here meeting many people and close colleagues. Along this market and the park it is already lively. You'd see a lot of people who are carefree basking in the late spring sun. Quite a few people are also exercising while others are meditating. I know that this is for you a little bit strange because the time is already 10 o'clock and the majority of people would be inside the buildings in your timeline at work. Well, now you see what are doing the adults who have just woken up and are hitting for the work that is immensely exciting for them. What regards our children, they are in schools, while the youngest ones are mostly at home. Some of them are also in kindergartens. However, the kindergartens are rare today as parents have a lot of free time for their children. So, in the kindergartens are taking their children, especially those parents who desire that their child develops sociability as soon as possible. Mhm. What regards the elementary schools, it has changed a lot, particularly in the substance that is much broader, but at the same time generalized. And almost all and almost all secondary schools and universities are making use of the remote education, as this is more practical. In this way, we have further reduced pollution, traffic, and the degradation of roads. Thus, our students are mostly learning in virtual classrooms at home. It's very simple. They sit behind a table in their home and turn on the projector or put on the goggles and are already surrounded by others in virtual classrooms. But this hasn't reduced our sociability because we have many student centers where youth is meeting. Therein, they are participating in various joint activities, especially in social games and recreation. To return to our restaurants and bars. Here has changed a lot because we have four types of restaurants and bars. The first type is similar to yours, where it works only the personnel. Then we have the second type, wherein is the production of food and beverage robotized, while the service human. Then further we have the third type, wherein is the preparation of food and beverages also robotized, but with the self-catering. And then we have yet the fourth type, the most advanced type, where everything is robotized, including the service. Herein we have only a supervisor who is a maintainer and a cleaner at the same time. Yes, much has changed, I can't deny this. Oh, I almost forgot to order my breakfast. It's very simple how it goes. I am located in a restaurant wherein is the preparation of food and beverages robotized while the service is human. On the table I have a screen where I place my order. So, a lemon balm tea for example and an apple pie. Touch, touch, and no long time has passed when the waiter brings me the breakfast. What can I say? The service is really fast and the breakfast just great. Yes, of course, because there is no money, there aren't any annoying bills. Yes, this is a very simple life. In fact, what is controlled in restaurants, bars, and stores is just the record of the consumption of raw materials, which are automatically ordered and transported from the charging station, some form of charging station where food is allocated. And as we are already at the bills, I remember the days in the old monetary economy when I was very young when the prices were quite funny. For example, 4.99, 99.99 or 499.99. And funny were due to the fact that such prices acted on the psyche as something cheaper even if the difference to the full value was only 1 cent. However, such writing of prices was also were reflecting the complexity of people in positions. Anyway, realize that whoever looks tooth for tooth, cent per cent or cent per cent, he'll surely live in on virtual complexity of your system. He'll never be content over himself, and no matter that he might live a richer life. But sooner or later, you'll surely realize the simplicity of life. In regard to the free flow of goods and services, here is yet a guideline for you that will accelerate you to such a simpler way of life. Well, I suppose that if you are expecting something in return at giving, you are expecting the reimbursement from the same person, isn't it? Well, this is already one big restriction. In fact, as a civilization, you are moving into a new era where the flow of giving and receiving will take place among all of us. This means that I give you something. This means that if I give you something, I'm also open uh, for receiving from other people, as if they are themselves sending me your energies. Since we are from the high perspective as selves, the higher selves, all connected, nothing is forgotten, everything is visible from top down, from the word of spirit. In other words, if you aren't receiving anything in return from someone, you will often get this from another person in the future, and often in a different form. However, in order that you align to such a higher plane of rapid giving and receiving, this free flow of giving and receiving, you must first change your definitions or beliefs about giving and receiving. Actually, it must arise the absolute knowingness into the higher support. So, for example, myself as a person, I'm giving according to my capabilities because I enjoy so, because I am that so. And when you're going to behave in such a way, then you'll get into your hands the right thing at the right time and, of course, from the right person, as human relations should be before the goods and services. And when most of you are going to live in such a way, then even the monetary system will collapse earlier, including the so-called barter exchange. Yes, even the barter exchange is also somehow egoistic, as it is always expecting something in return, although we may not need a certain good today. The barter exchange doesn't work from the complete trusting into the source or God, into the universal facts that I have mentioned in the first lectures. If you desire more to know about this free giving and receiving, check the lecture, I think, Human Relationship from the Higher Perspective. It's explained there. Friends, let's go on as a further example of the free flow of products and services. Let me describe you the new era's grocery store, or the so-called food station. Well, if you desire so, you could order food also from your home, but let's walk together to the nearby food station where I'm gathering my necessary life nutrients. Yes, yes, even the the collection of products has changed. Let me say that it is the old good cart, the only thing that is the most similar to your purchasing of goods, although this is modernized too. In particular, it has a screen and a scanner. In this way, you can scan all the products that you place in your cart. The screen displays the energy and the ingredients that were used for the production of a certain product, including the content of synthetic materials, packaging, and many other points of interest. This is very useful, as it's been shown that people prefer buying products which packages contains the minimum of synthetic materials. In what regards the energy, we have it today more than enough, since the natural economy, since the natural resources allow a great surplus. Well, here it is, the food station. Let's step in and see what we have on the shelves. As for first, you'd notice much less products than they used to be. In fact, today we have only a few companies or brands, and the existing companies are producing many more products than those of yours. This is simplify everything, because for us it is an outdated belief that we would have 10 brands for practically the same chocolate. Thus, to date, many of the best uh, ch- uh, chefs, and scientists have united together and created products of the best quality and taste. If I continue with our products, there aren't any white canned sugar sweets or very fatty products on the shelves. So there aren't any white canned sugar sweets or very fatty products on the shelves. And we also have much less meat than it used to be. Well, I will take some basic groceries, a whole wheat bread, a soy pasta, a sauce, some energy bars, and of course some fruits and vegetables. And here come in handy my bottle and the chest with the lid that I mentioned before. Today, we have in fact much less packaging because packaging is causing additional waste of materials, energy, and time, and so pollution. So the liquids such as beverages, milk, detergents, or shower gels, we just pour them into our own reusable bottles. Plenty of food is also in baskets. So that we put it into our reusable chests by using the spatula. Well, I'll pour a liter of soy milk while I'll put a few whole grain biscuits into my chest. So I bought some basic groceries, or better said, I picked some basic groceries. And now let's go home. And oh, oh, and once again, there aren't any annoying bills or receipts, and especially the long waiting lines. What's more beautiful? A very simple life. Further, the next change that you will see is the traffic. The traffic has considerably less cars and more public transportation. Almost all passenger cars, the four-wheel, the three-wheel, the two-wheel, the single-wheel, and other hovering means of transportation are powered by electricity. Some from the accumulators of batteries, some from the accumulators or batteries, while the others from the fuel cells or generators of free energy. The latter represents the most unusual source of energy, this free energy, although the free energy is nothing new because even in your timeline are some scientists dealing with it. But yes, it is also pressed by the status quo, by the elites. However, we have the collective field through which ideas are spreading from continent to continent. I tell you that it is just a matter of time before there are such generators expand in your timeline, and it is awaiting you an interesting period that's not going to be liked by the providers of electricity. How is this going to happen? Well, let me give you a few tips on this free energy. The construction of the generator is relatively simple. People will begin producing them by themselves in small workshops. The free energy can be obtained through the Earth's magnetic field, more precisely from the astral field, this astral etheric field, while for the very small consumptions directly from the human magnetic field. The interesting feature of the free energy is especially that it is available in abundance, because it is always present or inexhaustible. So a lot of individual residential domes have today their generators of free energy. This means that we are almost no longer using fossil fuels. In fact, fossil fuels are used only in the synthesis of certain materials, such are, for example, certain polymeric materials, like I said in the previous lecture, I think. This also means that the traffic is powered only by the alternative sources of energy, including the air traffic. But the air traffic is today much rarer than in your timeline, as it was proven out that it is the fastest, the safest, and the most economical, precisely the line transport. What is the line transport? Well, this is the rail transport, but today we call it simply as the line. The line. And later we'll go by such a train. Thus, the air traffic is mostly used for the transportation of passengers and cargo to our colonies on Mars. Yes, such is the modern traffic that we are having today. Well, now I got home, and I see new messages on my projector. They are my colleagues. One is asking whether I can attend a meeting and then visit the cybernetic production of bicycles. He wants to know whether I'd love to come already today. Of course I'll come. I reply him that I'm going to see him soon. Well, sometimes I'm attending the group for the integration of population and economy, so the group for the retrieval and exchanging of ideas for a better life. I am frequently communicating with the residents who send me such and other advices and ideas. I am surprised over their cleverness, over their enthusiasm. But of course the times are different. There is much more self-education. Well, friends, let's go on. And because I'm really hungry, I lit an energy bar along the way. So the new era, the new this society is not much, it is so based on the new technology, but rather on the organization, on the non-monetary organization of how are these natural resources distributed around the world. Because today we have much than enough technology. Further, so here we are. In front of me is a completely new multi-story building. The building is constructed with the advanced modular building. It is white in color with dimmed, almost black windows. Well, now they are dimmed because the sun is shining strongly. At the same time, are some of these windows also used as screens on the inside, especially for various presentations on meetings. Further, the building has rounded edges and smooth surfaces. In general, our city's infrastructure is still built in the old construction style as you know it. So only the new buildings have been built according to the new technology. But you would notice the advanced dwelling also at our residents who are living in contact with nature. They have their residential dwellings, we'll call them simply as domes, although they vary in shape from oval to nearly angular forms. And these domes provide the maximum comfort offered by today's technology. Oh, I forgot to say that the meeting is taking place in the city center, where it is the administration of the bicycle production, while the production itself is located on the outskirts of our city. Well, let's step in. My colleagues are already waiting me in this meeting of bicycles. I welcome my colleagues and the meeting can begin. The discussion is not running concerning the improvement of bicycles, but on their new interface that is going to be exhibited in the Media House. To help you better understand what the Media House is, we are going to visit it in the late afternoon, after the visiting of the production of bicycles. Well, with regards to the interface, this device is intended for collecting feedbacks from the residents and for displaying the company's production data. The interfaces are located in the Media House and the communication with them is highly interactive or virtual. Well, as I have understood, the enhanced interface is also enabling the virtual insight or the walking around the production lines of bicycles. Actually, there are two versions. One is working through the projector and the other through the goggles, 3D goggles. And both versions are suggested by the Worldwide Association of Innovators. In this way, the residents will realistically see what are the capabilities of our technology out there in the production lines. The idea is just superb, so that I'm going to examine it by myself. Well, the meeting is still going on, but let's go to the production of bicycles where I'll test out the improved interface. So, many companies' establishments are located on the outskirts of cities so that there is less degradation of cities infrastructure, degradation, so that the cities are more beautiful to see. Well, the production site is only a few miles away. It is located on the outskirts of the city so that the transportation of bikes to the city as short as possible. To get there, we won't need much time because we're going to use the line. Let's step in. To be honest, the traveling by the line is a single acceleration and deceleration because the distances are short here. In fact, the line speed is quite high. For the long distances, many countries have their super fast lines that easily break the sound barrier. Of course, those lines are from the inside specifically designed for such speeds. Similar to the aircraft's passenger cabins, including the safety belts. Well, a good minute has passed and we are on target on the site of production of bicycles. So, in front of me is standing this cybernetic production facility, also made with the advanced modular building. Well, let's go to the R&D department to try out the improved interface. The employees greeted me and I see the improved interface. Above all, they'd like to try out the goggles. No, nothing. I put on the goggles. The goggles are operating so that the image is changing by turning around my own axis, while the movement forward and backward is responding by my intention via sensorics, wireless. So when I'm turning around myself, I'm seeing the cybernetic production lines, I'm seeing even the supervisors and their machines, how they are working. It is as if I would be really walking down there. Yes, such interfaces shouldn't be in any way available in your times of competition and monetary economy, as they would reveal all the technology to the competition. What can I say about the interface? The goggles are perfect, but I see a difficulty because when I took off the goggles, I found myself about 6 to 7 feet away from the interface. How funny! I told them that it's reasonable to make a railing, as in the media house there are positioned several such interfaces next to each other. In fact, each company has at least one such similar interface, and it would be funny if the visitors would start hitting among themselves. The colleagues agree and might advise, in fact, they have already noticed that before. As for the projector interface, they say that there aren't any troubles. This works so that you sit down on the seat in a domed cabin, where it is around the observer displayed the projection of production lines. And this works so that the person is sitting still while the vision field is turning and moving according to the intention of the observer. Again, this conscious sensorics, wireless sensorics, you just have an intention and so the picture is moving. Well, as a curiosity, this company of bicycle is manufacturing, in addition to the bicycles, still the necessary biking equipment, and it is also providing the repair services and upgrades for the bicycle. So everything that is relating to bicycles. The repairs are otherwise very few, since the resident can get in return a new flawless bicycle or even an improved version if it is already available. Of course, for free is everything is for free. Everyone works for free, everyone gets everything for free. Yes, this is basically the quickest repair so that you get a new bicycle. Of course, there are also some individuals who are traditionalists who are attached to their old bicycle so that they prefer to wait for the repair. By the way, in the city are also located small bicycle exchange stations as well as bicycle take it and leave it stations. But only for the city bikes, not for the mountain racing, children and or other specific bikes that you must go to this facility to take a new bicycles for specific bicycles. Basically, if your bicycles have some troubles, if it breaks down, just leave it there and take a new one, and it is completely yours until it works. Friends, let's get back to the city center in the media house. There you realized that are finally over the times when the poor products and services needed advertising and vice versa when advertising needed the poor products and services. And here we are. In front of me is the media house and a new modular building again. The media houses are often standing next to the food stations so that we can visit them on daily basis. I suppose that you are thinking now that you'd see on the outside walls of the media house a lot of advertising since we are talking about the media house, isn't it? No, this is precisely the reason for the existence of the media houses. On the building there is absolutely nothing that would bother the passersby. No intrusive advertising, no hypnotizing of people. And if the media house have no exterior advertising, then this means that it isn't present anywhere else. In this way, we are living a much simpler and pleasant life. So anyone who longs searching for innovations can redirect himself to the media house. Of course, much of that is anyway available online, but in a reduced form and without any physicality. You don't need advertising because everything is free. You don't have to strive. The, the, the best products and services are simply relevant and they stay uh, for a longer period of time than the ones that are very poor. What is bad poor? Simply it doesn't circulate because there is no problem of money. So let's enter in this media house. So in the media house you have available all the advanced technology, the exhibited products, prototypes too, and of course the interfaces and stuff. As for the prototypes, they will come into production only in the case if the residents will like them. If you were here, you'd see very few brands, but which are on the other hand offering all sorts of products. But it's true that they prevail the household appliances and electronics. The media houses are the most similar to your trade fairs, only that here is available much more advanced technology, and especially there is no competition but cooperation between the manufacturers and then between the manufacturers and the residents. It's not like today in your timeline. New is also the development of products. The development is not such as yours when the companies are dictating products, functions, and design, because this is for us an outdated belief or definition, since the population didn't have any word in this. So today, all the residents have the opportunity to participate in the development of a product either through the staff in the media house or via the interfaces or online. Their contribution is the greatest in the household appliances and in the textile industry. Today, the companies that are producing the same or similar products are connected to the global network where they are quickly sharing new discoveries, inventions, innovations, improvements. In addition, we have the already mentioned Worldwide Association of Innovators, where are cooperating the best inventors and innovators. In your timeline, we could only dream of such a thing like that because companies were hiding the content of their business, of course, competition. Well, it was a clear demonstration of the rebellious self, this rebellious ego, in which you are living still today. In general, today has almost every country at least one company that is producing a certain range of products. And such companies are positioned at the outskirts of the largest city or between the major cities, so that we have the minimum of transportation and pollution. However, if a larger country, then our companies perform simulations to figure out where is best to have other smaller production lines. Well, let's go further with the media house. Oh, but right now I see a friend, his colleague from the R&D department at the company that is producing our bicycles. But he is also a concurrent member of the Worldwide Association of Innovators. I soon welcomed him and praised for their new interface, and he replied that he is inviting me to dinner. It's true, the media house is indeed slowly closing. It's so difficult to assess the linear time today. This is because we are doing everything with our excitement, inspiration, enthusiasm, because we are living in the moment. But despite that, people have almost no stress because we are not limited by any deadlines. And because we are living in co-alignment, this synchronicity, we are always in the right place at the right time. If you were here, you'd also rarely notice any people wearing watches because we are almost untied to time. Also, all sorts of communication devices such as your phones are a rare companion of today's man. This means that our days unfolding spontaneously and harmoniously. By the way, my friend has added that we are going to meet at the restaurant across the street. Well, there you'll see an entirely robotized restaurant in action. Actually, a robotic pizzeria. Friends, let's step across the street to the pizzeria. Okay, pizzeria. The restaurant is nice, but without the old romanticism. However, as already said, you also have the retro bars and restaurants that are just like yours. But because it is already a bit cold, we'll dine inside. So I sit behind the table where it is again located, the ordering display, like in the morning, at that restaurant in the morning. But first, how is this taking place, this ordering? First, you choose the number of your seat and then the desired beverage and the meal. And of course, you repeat the process for your friends if you have friends with you. I'm going to choose two juices and two whole wheat vegan pizzas. Touch, and the order is done. Simply. The computer knows at which table who sits so that it will then appear a tray just in front of us. If you were here, you'd notice the robotized kitchen. You would have really something to see. In the kitchen, it is situated the robotized food preparator, and above it appears the table number for the meal that is preparing, so that you see your pizza that is that is prepared. This is in the process of preparation. Well, my friend has just arrived and asked me whether I've chosen a crispy pizza for him. Of course, and here it is the fun. In fact, when choosing pizzas, you have quite some less more options. Less more options. For example, less or more baked, less or more salty, less or more spicy, less or more of certain additions, etc. It's really fun. And for the robot, there aren't any difficulties since it is merely about parameters. Well, our turn has just arrived and above the preparator is displayed the number of our table. So when I'm looking through the window, I'm seeing the robotized preparator of how it is kneading the dough to the right dimension and how it is putting on the stuff or additions and how then it places the pizza into the oven. It is working very quickly. Actually, the baking process is taking yet the more time. And when the pizza is baked, then it follows a very funny ride of the pizza and beverage on a trolley on rails, on rails, from the robot to our table. The trolley travels through the middle of our table and stops right in front of the person who has ordered. Then the trolley, then the trolley's tray moves into the bay in front of you, and afterward the procedure is repeated still for my friend. And all that is necessary to pay attention after you finish the meal is just to leave everything on the tray so that it can later the trolley transport the dirty utensils to the sorting machine and further to the dishwasher. What can I say? A very quick service while the pizza and juice were just excellent. In the meantime, my friend and I decided for an evening walk to the park, but for now we currently split up. Friends, let's go to my house now. So, and here we are at my home. I see again some new messages on the projector. Among them is also one of my colleagues who is inviting me to a company that is dealing with household appliances. Hmm, if I just sent him one of my female colleagues. But of course I'll go, because they have a very interesting new cybernetic production that is self-servicing or self-maintaining. But most of all, I like the section where the robots are building new robots. Well, now I'll go meditating and then back out with my friend for the evening walk. And although it is the day for me practically concluding, it is for others just beginning. As people will are simply slightly different. Thus, to certain pleases the working in the morning, to the second in the afternoon, to the third in the evening, to the fourth at night, and to the fifth a little now and then, a little here and there. Friends, I have given you a revelation of a routine day in the society that is reflecting the natural economy. I know that you've been enjoying with me. Maybe it sounds strange, but it gave me a little of nostalgia, as if I could, I would definitely join you. But of course, only for a short period of time. It sounds really weird, but the human being is such that it often falls into nostalgia. And this even though we have experienced many difficult moments, many ups and downs when we were at the very bottom. But the sun has always come out, and the sun is today shining and shining. Yes, I can finally say that we are living a harmonious life. Well, that's all for today and for the lecture that I have planned in English. What can I say? We can do it. Have a nice day. Bye bye.